All right. Welcome, everyone. As we're trickling in, I just want to thank you so much for being here. We're going to get started in a little bit with the finals after everybody has a minute to log on, probably a few minutes after one. So thank you so much. Welcome to those who are just joining us. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to get started in just another couple of minutes. Make sure all of our folks have a chance to get on the call. So just sit tight. We'll get started in a second. All right. Well, I will go ahead and jump into it. People can trickle in as they come on the call. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the final round of the 2026 iGRADS competition here at Clemson. Thank you so much for joining us today to celebrate the amazing work of our graduate students. My name is Matt Harrington. I'm a member of the Research and Career Development Committee of Clemson's Graduate Student Government. I'm hosting the event today, but I'm truly speaking on behalf of the entire Research and Career Development Committee when I say thank you so much for being here, participating in this year's competition, whether you made a video or you're here to enjoy the videos. Thank you so much. So before we start today's event, I really want to acknowledge some of the outstanding people that have been integral to making this competition happen. First off, I want to start by thanking the wonderful people who are serving on our committee this year. All of us are busy grad students, and we've been taking hours out of our days to make this a really great experience for the finalists and the audience. I especially want to thank our director, Antonio Blank, and our deputy director, Devinder Singh, who've been phenomenal leaders all year long. Committee would also like to thank GSG leadership for their trust and support of our committee to help bring these impactful events to life every year. Second, we cannot go without mentioning the amazing support we've received from associate deans and the colleges. Your commitment to graduate student success and recognition means so much to us, not just as grad students ourselves, but also in seeing this event come to life year and year again. It's because of you. For the faculty, staff, administrators, everyone in the audience who's taken the time to be here today during the preliminary round and during the training modules for our finalists, thank you again. Whether you're behind the scenes or not, we see the support that you are putting in for our students and competitors, and we appreciate it. Finally, we have had the pleasure of organizing this event in very close collaboration with the graduate school. Their unwavering support and patience throughout the planning process have been incredible. I especially want to highlight Dr. Jenny Pressgraves, Rebecca Tao, and Dean Lopes, who are always available to meet us with a smile and a helping hand. So please help me in thanking them and everybody else. The big round of digital applause. You know, you got an emoji you can use. We're gonna use a ton of it. So that's amazing. Okay, cool. Thank you. All right, to our finalists. Today we have our 13 top graduate students from across the spectrum of degree programs, disciplines, and colleges. Our finalists were the top scorers of their respective colleges, as selected by a panel of judges in the preliminary round that we held earlier this spring. The finalists, we applaud all of your hard work, your dedication getting to this point, and we really look forward to seeing, hearing, and experiencing the creative videos that you've put together about your research. So to give a little overview of the competition for those who are unfamiliar, all of our finalists will be competing to be the winner of Clemson's 2026 Graduate Research and Discovery Symposium, iGRADS, yeah. The first place winner will receive $3,000. Second place will get $2,000, and third place will receive $1,000. We will also have the audience vote on your favorite video from today's competition, and the videos with the top two most votes out of that will win our People's Choice Awards and $100 each. So make sure you stay till the end to vote on that. There's also some prizes available for our audience today. I'll touch more on that in just a minute, though. So, like I mentioned, iGRAD stands for our virtual Graduate Research and Discovery Symposium. These talented students have turned their entire research project into a 3-minute video that's intended to be accessible to a non-expert audience, people outside their lab, outside their field. Today, we're going to be enjoying our finalists' hard work and then announcing our winners at the end. The one other element that makes this event such a cornerstone of the grad student experience at Clemson is that it's fully virtual. So any grad student from any of our nearly 12 satellite campus buildings can participate fully in developing their scientific communication, their creativity, and their professional media skills. So we host iGrads at the graduate school every spring. We encourage everyone to get inspired by today's finalists. Bring your own creativity to next year's competition. Also, we'd love to offer an extra special thank you to our judges for dedicating their time and talent to this competition. We could not do this without you. So thank you all so much. We appreciate you. All right. So what did they do? What will our finalists be judged on? Well, each competitor will be assessed on their communication skills, use of audiovisual media according to these criteria that you see here. So regarding their overall presentation, they get up to 7 points each for their pace, for having clear and effective communication, and capturing and maintaining the viewer's attention and conveying that enthusiasm. Regarding the content of the presentation, they could get up to 7 points each for providing an understanding of the background, avoiding jargon and technical language, showing clear significance of their work, communicating effectively the methods and approach that they used, their analysis, conclusions, or outcomes being communicated effectively, and making a clear, broad impact with their work. And then lastly, regarding the creative elements of the presentation, they can get up to 7 points each for following a clear and logical sequence, kind of a storyline, having appealing audiovisual elements, and demonstrating originality and creativity. And as a note, the judges will focus on evaluating our finalists' overall presentation according to the rubric, regardless of their opinion on the competitor's field, the research topic, or their experimental methods, just about the communication and the design. All right, so let's talk about the flow of the event. The finalist videos have been split up into 3 sessions with breaks in between. So within each session, we'll have 4 or 5 of our finalists' videos. We'll introduce each finalist and hear from them about their vision for the video. Then we'll watch the video, have a short Q&A at the end. We'll ask them about their research, creative process, or the making of their video. So if you're a finalist, we do ask that you please turn on your screen for the introduction and the Q&A. During the breaks between the sessions, we'll have some short Kahoot trivia games with questions about Clemson and some general experimental knowledge. So after each round, the top scoring audience members will receive $100, $60, or $40 for scoring first, second, or third in each round of Kahoot. But note that only Clemson grad students are eligible for these prizes. So we appreciate you, but you cannot win money if you are not a Clemson graduate student. And we'll finish the event tonight with our award ceremony after the last round of videos and trivia. Okay, And now to kick us off, I'm going to pass the call over to Dean John Lopes, the Dean of our graduate school, and he'll share a few remarks.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate the opportunity to echo your voice and thanking the committee for all the work that they did in setting this up. I especially want to highlight folks in the graduate school as well who work tirelessly to support these efforts. Dr. Jenny Pressgraves and Rebecca Tao do an outstanding job every year of helping support these initiatives, and we really value that. I want to thank the judges as well. I think we can't do any of the things that we do without the support from external stakeholders, and we're always sort of gratified to see how many folks are willing to lend a helping hand with really what are a lot of incredibly fun events on our campus, fun but very meaningful events. Yeah, I think very briefly, I think from the day I arrived on this campus, I've made it clear that one of my priorities is really helping our students understand the value of communicating what they do to the broadest possible audience. We do that with 3MT competition. We've recently initiated non-technical abstracts as a requirement for dissertations. And I think iGRADS is a particularly innovative element of what we do now. And Dr. Jenny Pressgraves is contemplating presenting this at the Conference of Southern Graduate Schools in hopes of getting other universities to get on board with this kind of competition, because we think it's equally valuable, if not more valuable even than 3MT competition. It's a different way to do things. It affords a lot more opportunities, as Matt pointed out, to a much bigger audience. And so we're grateful for this. I love being a part of this. I love seeing the incredibly creative work that our students are doing. Always wowed by these presentations. So thank you so much for letting me be a part of this and for all the work that you did to bring this to fruition. Thank you.
Of course, thank you so much, Dean Lopes. We really, really appreciate you. And with that, we are ready to begin our first session of videos. So our first presenter, let me move my computer over so I can read everything. Okay, perfect. Our first presenter today is going to be Joey Lavala. Joey is a student in CCAS. The title of Joey's video will be Delivering Hope, a new approach to treat breast cancer. So before we get started with that video, okay, Joey, I see you there. Perfect. Question for you. What was your initial vision for this project, or what were you inspired by that kind of informed the video's design?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Just making sure my headphones are working. Yeah, so kind of the field that I work in a very niche field in bioengineering. I work with some technology that's very, very new. It was only discovered about a decade ago. I work with a very niche type of brain cancer. So I've kind of dug myself into this very tight corner of science, but it stands to have a large lasting impact on improving treatment efficacy for a type of cancer that really has not had any change since the late 90s in the way we actually treat this. But what I've noticed a lot is when I try to explain this to people, the actual impact or the message tends to get lost in not only the reason why we need to treat this, but also the importance for kind of my technology and what I work with. So my vision and my whole goal with this was to kind of create a video where I can make this easily acceptable by everyone to understand the importance of, number one, why do we need to solve this problem? And then number two, kind of giving some hope to the approach of that. We've always heard, people having cancer and passing with cancer, but showing that there is hope and light at the end of the tunnel with a lot of future and new potential technologies.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and watch the video. Just give us a second to get that together and play.
What's your favorite childhood memory? What Amazon shipment are you waiting for? What are you passionate about? Our brains house all of this information and more. Our brains define who we are. So what can we do when the brain begins to break down and destroy itself? That's the question faced by patients with glioblastoma, the most severe form of brain cancer. Even with surgery, radiation, and chemotherapy, most patients barely survive a year after diagnosis. And while decades of cancer research have significantly improved survival rates for nearly all other forms of cancer, outcomes have barely improved for glioblastoma patients. So, what makes this cancer so hard to treat? Well, our brains define ourselves, so our bodies have developed extremely strong protections for them. Our brains have a built-in defense system that acts kind of like a security checkpoint, blocking harmful substances in the blood from entering the brain. That checkpoint is essential for our health. But it also stops many promising medicines from reaching the brain when it needs treatment the most. So we don't just need better drugs, we need better ways to deliver them. And luckily, our research into shipping personalized therapies to brain tumors is delivering a solution. Our DNA carries all of the necessary information for our body to function. But when sections of our DNA are severely altered, whether by genetics or our environment, cancer can arise. We have some tools to treat cancer in other organs, but in the brain, the only drug currently available can't even pass the brain security checkpoint on its own. Instead, we use one of the newest, most powerful tools in the fight against cancer, called CRISPR. Think of CRISPR as GPS-guided scissors that can precisely cut our DNA. CRISPR can find the exact altered region of the DNA, remove it, and allow us to correct cancer right at its source. But there's still a major challenge. Even if we tell CRISPR's GPS where to cut the DNA, CRISPR can't slip past the brain security checkpoints to reach the tumor. So instead of packing it in a cardboard box and bubble wrap, we designed tiny biological carriers for CRISPR called peptides. Peptides are small pieces of proteins that our bodies use every single day. We can assemble these peptides around CRISPR to act just like delivery trucks. Their job is to protect CRISPR, help it cross the brain's protective barrier, and deliver the DNA scissors directly into the cancer cells. And if we can perfect the system to deliver CRISPR past the brain's barrier and into cancer cells, the impact goes far beyond glioblastoma. The same delivery system could then be used to treat other brain diseases and improve how we deliver medicines all throughout the body. It could mean more precise treatments, fewer side effects, and precious time saved with the memories and people we love the most. Because sometimes, the breakthrough isn't just in the tool, it's in delivering it where it needs to go.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay, so before we move on, we have one more question for you, and that was, what was your favorite part of this process? That could be, drafting the script, recording the audio, creating the visuals, editing. What stood out to you as the favorite part?
Yeah, I think for me, it was definitely kind of the original creation of the script itself and just kind of seeing the way that I can actually break this down into something digestible. And I found it kind of unique or really cool to be able to compare my very niche research field into something that everyone knows, like receiving a package or TSA, or like these types of events or experiences that everyone knows and can relate to, so that it's better well understood by a very broad audience.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Joey.
Thank y'all.
All righty. So at this time, we're going to move on to our next contestant, our next finalist. All right. So next up, we have Rosita Shivaraj from the College of Science. The title of this video is Inside the Stretch, A Hidden Molecular World. Okay, and Rosita, guys, we have you on here. Perfect. So same question for you. What was your initial vision for this project? What were you inspired by that helped inform kind of your video design?
Hi everyone, I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
My vision behind the video was to keep the chemistry simple so anyone can understand what happening inside complex polymer systems when they are stretched, or we call it elongation of flow. It is very much useful during processing, which is important for many applications.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and watch the video. Just give us one moment.
Inside the Stretch, a Hidden Molecular World. Have you ever stretched a rubber band and felt it suddenly resist your pull? That resistance is not random. Inside the material, millions of chains are rearranging as you stretch it. Polymers, the plastics and rubbers around us, have shaped modern life for over a century. Today, advanced polymers survive demanding manufacturing and real-world use. They are used in batteries, fuel cells, and flexible electronics, support water purification, and are even found in everyday products like cosmetics. One powerful class of these materials is called a diblock copolymer, a single long chain made of two chemically different sections joined together. In my research, one block is sulfonated polystyrene known as SPS. It contains charged sulfur oxygen groups that act like tiny magnets. They come together in small groups and help charged particles move. The other block, polyethylene propylene or PEP, is soft and rubbery, providing flexibility. Before we use these materials, they are stretched while being made, like pushing them through a small opening, making thin sheets or 3D printing objects. How the material behaves depends on how fast we stretch it. This changes viscosity, the material's resistance to flow. Think about honey and water. Honey flows slowly, water flows easily. Polymers behave in a similar way when they are stretched. When stretched slowly, these charge groups stay together and make the material harder to pull. When stretched quickly, they break apart and the material flows more easily as viscosity decreases. We can't see this directly because it's happening at a scale too small for our eyes to see. Experiments show the overall behavior, but not how molecules move. I use computer simulations called molecular dynamics, kind of like a tiny camera inside the material, to watch how molecules move. Compared to experiments, they are faster, cost-effective, and safer for testing extreme conditions. These simulations allow me to control stretching precisely and understand exactly why viscosity changes. When we understand how chemistry and stretching interact, we can control material performance. My research at Clemson University supports safer batteries, stronger materials, and cleaner energy systems that last longer and are sustainable. So, the next time you stretch a rubber band, remember, inside that simple motion, millions of chains are aligning, breaking, and reconnecting. And by understanding this hidden world, we gain the power to design the materials that shape our future.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. That was great. All right. So, for the second question, what was your favorite part of the process? Same thing could be drafting the script, recording the audio, anything. What was your favorite part?
There were a few. So I like the process of writing the script and creating the video while keeping the science simple and clear. It was challenging, but I learned a lot and I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. All right. We are going to move on to our next finalist. Perfect. Okay, so our next finalist is going to be Priya Sharma from CAFLs. The title of this talk will be Winner, Winner, Safer Chicken Dinner. So, Priya, what was your initial vision for this project, or what inspired you?
Hi, Matt. So my initial vision was to make food safety feel really real and personal because we all have sat for chicken dinner, but we've never thought about it in a food safety angle. And to simplify the video so that it's so easier for even a 12-year-old to understand it. And for most of these science communication competitions, we mainly see pure science videos, but we've seen a lot of like applied science, let's say for public health, agricultural sustainability, and they're too technical. So I wanted to simplify it so that it's very easy to understand.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, well, we will watch the video in just a moment here.
Oh, yeah.
You and your friends go out for dinner. Your food just arrived. Everything looks clean. Everything smells fine. You have no idea what's on that plate. Every year, over 1.7 million Americans get sick from just 2 bacteria, Salmonella and Campylobacter. Most of those cases trace back to chickens. But here's the problem. In adult chickens, these bacteria cause no visible illness. No symptoms, no warnings. The birds look and behave completely healthy. These bacteria live quietly inside the chicken's gut, what scientists call a reservoir, invisible, undetected, until it reaches your plate. So instead of fixing contamination at the end, my research asks, what if we stop it before it even starts? Inside every chicken is an entire ecosystem of microorganisms, the gut microbiome. When beneficial bacteria dominate, they support digestion, strengthen immunity, and crowd out harmful pathogens. Think of it as a well-maintained garden instead of a one filled with weeds. Probiotics, live beneficial bacteria, and prebiotics, the natural fibers that feed them. We give chickens these treatments and then study how the gut microbiome responds. Here's something most people don't know. Most bacteria can't simply be grown in a lab. Traditional culturing methods, the kind used since the 1800s, simply cannot detect them. That is why we lean towards DNA sequencing. We collect samples, yes, fecal samples, extract bacterial DNA, and read a small gene that acts as a unique fingerprint to identify different bacteria. This gives us millions of sequences. We then use bioinformatic tools and Clemson's Palmetto high-performance computing to analyze the data and understand patterns in the microbiome. Reducing pathogen loads at the farm level means fewer food recalls, fewer hospitalizations, and billions of dollars saved in public health costs every year. Remember your friends? You're fine. Dinner was great. My goal is to make sure that it always stays that way.
Awesome. That was fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. So if you could share what your favorite part of this process was.
I would say the whole learning curve, writing script, the audio. I never have done a video before, so it was my first time animating it. And I learned a lot. So the favorite part was the whole process itself.
That's amazing. I'm glad you got those skills. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
All
Ben.
right. Thanks. So we are going to go ahead and move on to our next finalist. Excuse me. All right. Is Ola on the call? Okay. Well, our next finalist is Olalekan Tunde Ajayi from the College of Behavioral, Social, and Health Sciences. The title of this video is Save Our Trees, Save Our Lives. And if Ola is here, I have a question for him. But if not, that's okay. We can watch the video and we can all enjoy.
Yes, please go ahead. I'm here.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay. Sorry, I was looking for you. Okay, perfect. So Ola, what was your initial vision or inspiration for this project?
Thank you very much for the question. So the initial vision for this project is how not to separate nature and humans, because I've noticed that we've just separated it to be, oh, this is nature, we should be outside nature, but humans are actually part of nature. So I thought about this project in the sense that when we are saving nature, we are actually saving our lives. So we need to pay more attention into doing that. And that was the vision behind the project.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. All
Thank
right.
you.
Well, we will go ahead and watch this video in just a moment.
Death! Death! Please lure me! Oh no! I do not mean to human beings. I mean to our trees. And I can imagine the relief on your face place. Because as far as you're concerned, it's just to the trees. But that's tragic.
Because these trees give us oxygen to breathe. They shield us from hurricanes, floods, and they trap harmful excess carbon from the atmosphere. But sadly, these trees are being cut down and replaced by buildings because private landowners are selling their lands to developers. Why are they selling? It's because they are struggling financially. They just want to survive like you and I. And growing up in Nigeria, I personally saw landowners sell off their lands just so they could live to see the next day. This is why any proposed solution has to go beyond simply educating landowners about the importance of trees. But can we provide alternative livelihoods for them? Yes, we can, through voluntary carbon markets. And this is a market where companies pay for releasing excess carbon into the atmosphere, and landowners get paid for keeping trees that absorb this carbon. This approach has succeeded in some other parts of the world, but not in the US. So my research asks a simple question. What is stopping US landowners from adopting this carbon program, and can the right kind of support change their minds? To find out, I began by surveying landowners to understand what they did not know, followed by workshops to train them about voluntary carbon markets, as well as focus group discussion to see if they were willing to participate. And here's what I found out. The majority of these landowners began the workshops unsure and hesitant, but 92% of them left informed and willing to participate in voluntary carbon markets, leading to the conclusion that the right information and support both play a critical role in increasing participation.
Now, the impact of my research is threefold. One, giving our landowners a second chance at life through income generation. Two, ensuring that our companies continue to function while addressing their environmental impact. And three, achieving a healthy ecosystem where you and I can thrive. Because as we're saving our trees, we're saving our lives.
Wonderful job. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so what was your favorite part of the process?
Yes, thank you. So I think my favorite part of the process was actually shooting those clips. And I also had help from a professional friend of mine who is also on the call, Mui. So she helped me film those. And then that was really my favorite part, to see it come to life. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ola. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, that is going to conclude our first session of finalist videos, which means it's time for our first round of Kahoot. So for those of you who have not played Kahoot before, a question is going to appear on screen, and you can select the answer choice on your device. You'll need like a phone to play this. So you'll have about 10 seconds per question, and scoring is counted automatically just based on your accuracy and your speed. So if you're a graduate student who wants to try to win the prizes, please use your Clemson username as your player name on Kahoot. And y'all should be able to join with the code or scanning the QR code on the screen. We'll get started in about 60 seconds or so. There is prize money, so, you know. Just another couple seconds. All good, all good. Okay. Okay, so first question, what was Clemson originally established as? An agricultural college. We did have military heritage as well, but originally established as an agricultural college. And you get a little breakdown of your scores. Very fun. Perfect. Okay, what was the original name of Clemson University? So it was Clemson College in terms of the actual like will and testament. But y'all are definitely on the right track that it was an agricultural college. So which Clemson building houses our honors college today? It is in fact in core. It's in what used to be, I think, core C or D, but is now Deschamps and Crimp Hall. Awesome, awesome. So which Clemson building was destroyed by fire and later rebuilt? This was Tillman Hall or Old Main. It burned down in the 1800s and was rebuilt very quickly shortly thereafter. So which of our Clemson residence halls we have today are among the oldest on our campus? That would be the shoeboxes. Absolutely true. I was assigned to Coke my very first year here. And, maybe look at renovation sometime soon. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so switching to like the science side, which element has the highest melting point? And don't worry, we have a few different fields incorporated here. They're not all heavily science. Tungsten. Yes, that is definitely the correct answer. Nice, nice, nice. We've got some leaders. Okay, so which element is essential for the function of your thyroid? That would be iodine. Y'all are killing this. That's awesome. Okay, cool, cool, cool. All right, here we go. So what is the name of the enzyme that breaks down starch? Yes, amylase. Awesome, awesome. Okay, great job, y'all. Let's see what our results are. So, J-Lo, number 3, fantastic. Shiver 2, second place, amazing. And our number 1 spot, names, amazing. Cool, 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 cool. Runners up, Oyen and BGUINAT. Thank you so much for playing. We'll have one more in a little bit. We're going to write those down and we'll be in contact for those of you who are graduate students. So congratulations to all of our trivia winners. Okay. So we are now ready for our second session of finalist videos. So we'll get this pulled up in just a second here. And we'll keep on rolling. Perfect, perfect. Okay. So our first video of the second session is going to be presented by Kartik Loya. They are in CCAS, and the title of the video is Learning from Nature to Build Better Swimming Robots. And Kartik, are you on the call with us? I thought I saw.
Yes, hi. Can you hear me?
Perfect, perfect. Okay, great, great to see you, great to see you. So same question for you. What was kind of your initial vision for this project? What inspired you to make this video?
So my vision for this video is to present a complex research problem in an intuitive and relatable way. I focus on how nature, or more specifically evolution, in fish has already solved many locomotion problems and have achieved great swimming efficiency. So in this video, I show how much engineering it takes to match or come close to that efficiency. And I also hope like it shifts perspective. Robots are not something to fear. They are tools, mere tools that are designed by us to work in nature and increase productivity. And ultimately, the goal is to leave you with a clear takeaway that this research is can lead to smarter and more adaptable robots.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, we'll go ahead and get that video playing. Just a minute here.
Imagine you're swimming in a river. The water is flowing against you. It pushes, it resists, it keeps changing. For us, movement in such conditions is hard and inefficient, but fish make it look effortless. They glide, they turn sharply, they move with incredible precision. They have evolved over millions of years to do something engineers still struggle to replicate. Now, here's something even more fascinating. There is a famous experiment where a dead fish is placed in flowing water, and even without actively swimming, its body interacts with the flow and moves naturally, which means swimming is not just about effort, it's about how the body interacts with the flow. Flexibility, shape, and passive motion do a lot of the work, and that idea is what inspires my research. We build fish-inspired robots that don't rely on propellers, but instead move more like real fish. They are quieter, more efficient, and better suited for complex underwater environments. Our robot has two main parts, an internal rotor which moves back and forth inside the body, and a flexible tail which interacts with the water to create motion. Instead of forcing the robot through water, we design it to work with the physics of water just like the fish do. But building the robot is only half the challenge. The real question is control. Water is unpredictable, the robot bends, flexes, and everything interacts at once. So instead of modeling every tiny detail, we build a simple digital twin, a small virtual version of the robot. And sorry about the math, but you can think of these equations as something that predicts the robot's future motion based on the actions it takes. Like a game, before making a move, we ask, if I turn, will I drift? If I speed up, will I lose control? And with that, the robot doesn't just react, it starts thinking ahead. A model is only useful if it matches reality, so we validate it by comparing its predictions with the real robot. If they match, we know the model can reliably guide how the robot moves. So these robots are highly agile, able to move through tight and complex spaces where traditional machines struggle. Then we take it one step further. We let the robot learn. In reinforcement learning is a bit like how a child learns to walk. At first, the child takes random steps and falls, but slowly by trying again and again, it figures out what works. In the same way, our robot practices in a simulated world, learning how to swim, turn, and follow paths. And once it learns, we transfer that knowledge to a real robot. Here you can see the robot tracking different paths in the real world. The black line is the desired path and the yellow line is what the robot actually follows. It closely tracks the trajectory, showing the model and learning work together effectively. So why does this matter? More than 80% of our oceans are unexplored and many species remain unknown. To understand and protect these ecosystems, we need tools that can observe without disturbing them. Fish-like robots can help with real-time monitoring of ocean health, tracking environmental changes, and protecting marine life. They are quiet and energy efficient, making them safer for marine environments and less disruptive to wildlife. They can be used for underwater surveillance, for inspecting critical infrastructure such as ship hulls, underwater bridges, and fiber optic cables. By studying fish, we are learning how nature has already solved complex problems, and by bringing those ideas into robotics, we can build systems that are adaptive, efficient, and better suited to real-world environments. My hope is that one day, these robots will not only explore the oceans, but also help us understand and protect the life within them.
Wonderful work. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We got one more quick question for you. So what was your favorite part of the process? The writing, the recording, visuals, the audio?
I think my favorite part was as engineers, we're always trained to think in terms of equations and models, but but this pushed me to think from an audience perspective, who's not trained to understand the world like that, but to explain of how these things work and how robots work. Today, when you see a humanoid dancing, when you see a robot jumping here and there, what goes on behind? And I just wanted to have a small video to help people understand what goes in the background and just have an interesting outlook towards that. But also the bigger picture was, I think, that this research and what impact it can have. I think it made me understand what the bigger picture of the my research could be. I think we always get lost into the nitty-gritties of our work, but looking at a bigger picture when you explain to people who are not from your background helps you understand what the bigger picture is. So yeah, thank you.
Fantastic. All right. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our next competitor, our finalist. Awesome. So next up is going to be Atira Babu from College of Science. The title of this video will be Rethinking What We Call Waste. Okay, if you're on the call, we do have some questions for you.
Hello.
Surprise. Hi, how are you? Okay, so what was your initial vision, your inspiration for this project, for this video?
To begin with, I think the vision of making this video began with how much love I have for the work I do. So right from the beginning of a project till the end of the project, there is a lot going on in terms of seeing new things, experiencing new things. So, and those are all really interesting. So I wanted to give the general audience a feel of what my research looks like, the problems that we are addressing, and what's a solution that we have in a way that anybody could understand. So that was the vision behind this video.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. We'll go
Thank
ahead
you.
and give it a watch here in just a moment.
Every year, the petroleum industry produces over 70 million tons of sulfur as waste. 70 million tons, and most of it just sits unused. At the same time, plastic waste is everywhere, in our homes, in landfills, in oceans, and where not. My research brings these two waste materials together and turns them into something useful, like a building material strong enough for construction. I begin this by collecting plastic waste and breaking it down into smaller pieces. This is then followed by grinding the plastic pieces together. A fixed amount of sulfur and blended plastic waste is added to a glass container and is heated for 24 hours at high temperature. And during this process, something interesting happens. Sulfur changes its structure from small ring-like form into long chains. These chains can act like connectors linking the chemical constituents in plastic together. After 24 hours, the material is then poured into molds and allowed to solidify. What started as a waste is now a solid, usable material, a block that can be shaped much like a construction brick. This matters because traditional construction materials like cement bricks come with a high environmental cost. Producing cement bricks require a lot of energy and contributes to carbon emissions. By contrast, the material I am working on is made entirely from waste. So instead of using new resources, we reuse what already exists, and that makes it more sustainable. When we test these blocks made of sulfur and plastic, the results are exciting. We evaluate their strength and how they behave at high temperatures and compare them directly to conventional cement bricks. They are as strong as, and in some cases, stronger than cement bricks. My research shows that waste doesn't have to be a problem always. It can be a resource too. And it also shows that waste isn't just something to manage. With the right approach, it's something we can design with.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. All
Thank
right.
you.
So we do have another question for you. What was your favorite part of the whole process?
So, as you saw in the video, I decided to film some of the real processes that we do in the lab. So, that was my most favorite part of the process because I wanted the general audience to know what actually goes on in the lab. And while filming this, although I do it like every day, when I recorded these videos, it gave me completely a new perspective of how actually things look like. And honestly, it made me proud of like getting the opportunity to do this every day.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you so much.
All right. We are going to move on to our next finalist. Perfect. And next up is going to be Shinto Francis from the College of Science. The title of this video is When Imperfection Wins, the Physics of Electron Localization. If you're on the call with us, we do have a question for you.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Fantastic. Yes, we can.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, cool,
All right.
cool. So, sorry, what was your initial vision for the project? What were you inspired by? You probably know the question.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So when I first looked into this video, making a video, I want to break two general norms in the society. The first one, we always feel like a perfection is always the best thing. Like we need perfect body, we need perfect grades, but sometimes if like a small amount of imperfection can lead to better results. And the second thing, as you can see in the title, like when you say something like advanced physics concept, like electron localization, we always feel like it is something above our head, but it is not. These are things that we use in our daily life, like starting from our phones in our hands to all the news that we hear, like all these NASA missions and everything. Everything has all these physics concepts, but always there is a gap between the understanding as well as the usage. So all of my goal was to bring that gap a bit closer and closer. I tried my best to do that. Let's see.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We'll go ahead and get that video playing in a second.
Oops. That's a sound effect, correct? We are taught from the young age that disorder is sort of bad. Cracks weakens bridges, noise ruins signals, defect destroys performance. So we chase perfection. Cleaner, purer, flawless. But what if perfection isn't always optimal? The right amount of disorder could actually improve performance. Meet Mr. Graphene, a material just one atom thick. In a perfect graphene sheet, electrons can move like cars in an open highway. But at the quantum scale, electrons aren't just particles, they are waves. So when waves encounter disorder, they interfere. Sometimes constructively, sometimes destructively. And when this interference peaks, the electron wave stops spreading. It becomes trapped. This phenomenon is called Anderson localization. It predicts that beyond a critical level of disorder, a material can switch from conducting to insulating. But experimentally finding that tipping point is a bit hard. So we took that personal. We introduced controlled atomic defects on graphene by hitting them with heavy ions. Then we used Raman spectroscopy to measure the defect spacing, ultrafast laser measurements to watch the electron relaxation in real time, and finally electrical and Seebeck measurements. Here, Seebeck is the material's ability to convert heat directly into electricity, the same principle that powers many of our space missions. What we found was striking. At a defect spacing of about 20 nanometer, not 10, not 50, right around 20, everything changed. Relaxation time peaked, resistivity got shot up exponentially, and thermoelectric response reached a maximum. So, what's actually happening? At that point, localization acts like an energy filter. Within the same material, the defect distribution now comes in control of its behavior. In short, disorder wasn't a problem. It was a proper tool. A new way to design the next generation materials with applications ranging from the chips inside your smartphones to space missions to Mars. So what do you guys think? It's okay to be a little imperfect, right?
Wonderful. That was great. Thank you so much. Okay, second question. What was your favorite part of the process?
Everything was nice. First of all, making all these critical physics concepts as simple as possible. That was the hard part. And the most interesting was switching between which software should I use to make videos. I started on a couple of them, and I was like, okay, when I work on this, I feel like the other one was better. I was jumping back and forth, but at some point I had to stay with one. Yeah, that was good.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm glad you settled on it. Got the video together. It was great. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. We are going to move on to our next finalist. So our next finalist is Arti Dakal from the College of Agriculture, Forestry, and Life Sciences. The title of this video will be Underground and Unseen, When Temperature Gives Pests the Upper Hand. Okay, if you're on the call, we do have some questions for you.
Can you hear me okay?
We can. Thank you so much. So what was your initial vision for the project?
For this project, I wanted to understand something that's easily overlooked, what's happening below the surface as temperature rise. We often see plants getting smaller and weaker, but we don't always ask why. My project focuses on how rising soil temperatures might be making a hidden pest, in this case, a plant parasitic nematode, more damaging to crops. At the heart of it, my vision is simple. If we understand how climate change is affecting these tiny organisms, we can better protect the crops we depend on.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. All right, give us a second. We'll get this video up for everybody to enjoy.
These two tomato plants were grown under slightly different soil temperatures, but one is already losing the battle underground. The difference is not much visible above the soil, but below it, the roots tell a very different story. What's causing this damage is not visible to the naked eye. It is in fact a microscopic pest called plant parasitic nematode. These tiny roundworms live in the soil and infect plant roots, disrupting their ability to take up water and nutrients. Among these nematodes, one of the most damaging is the root knot nematode. It infects plant roots and forms these solan structures called galls, which interfere with the plant's ability to grow and thrive. Root knot nematodes cause significant yield losses in crops like tomato worldwide. In fact, these tiny worms are responsible for billions of dollars in crop losses each year. But plants are not completely defenseless. Some tomato varieties carry resistance genes called the MI1 gene, which can protect them against these nematodes. However, this resistance is not always stable. It gets broken down at soil temperatures higher than 27 degrees Celsius, leaving plants vulnerable once again. And as global temperatures rise, soil conditions are changing, potentially making both the nematodes more aggressive and plant defenses less effective. So my research asks a simple question. How does this increasing soil temperature affect the reproduction and virulence of root knot nematode in tomato? To answer this, I grew tomato plants under 4 different soil temperature conditions. I then measured nematode reproduction by extracting eggs from the roots and assessed the damage they caused. The results were clear. As temperatures rise, plants are not just getting smaller. Something else is changing. The nematode may be hitting harder. This could be an early signal that higher temperatures are making it more aggressive and more damaging. So I looked inside the roots to see what the nematode is actually doing.
And what I was looking for was simple. How much damage is really happening and how fast is it getting worse? First, I looked at the galls, those swollen, bumpy structures on the roots, to see how severe the damage had become, and then I counted the eggs, because more eggs means more nematodes and faster spread. And here's what I found. As the temperature went up, the damage went up too. More galls, more eggs, more stress on the plant. In the warmer soils, the nematodes weren't just present, they were thriving. They were reproducing faster and causing more severe damage inside the roots. And that brings us back to the bigger question. What does this mean for plants as temperatures continue to rise? Because this is not just about a tiny little worm, it is about protecting the food that ends up on all our plates.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay, so same second question. What was your favorite part of the process?
My favorite part was bringing the research and storytelling together. Since everything I study happens below ground, I had to be very intentional about how I showed it, using the visuals, pacing, and narration to make the science clear and engaging. Seeing what happens inside the roots and then turning it into a visual story that people can actually understand and connect with was rewarding for me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, we have one more finalist in this round. Perfect. Excuse me. So our next finalist will be Camilla Eshaliva from the College of Behavioral, Social, and Health Sciences. The title of this video, What Makes Readers Blame When Reading News Headlines About Sexual Violence? If you're on the call, we would love to ask you a couple of questions.
Yes, I'm here.
Perfect. So what was your initial vision? Sorry, yep, you know.
Yes, and so this project was inspired by the fact that we see countless news headlines every day, especially on social media, but we don't really think about how they shape our understanding of like different events and serious issues like sexual violence. And I worked as a journalist for 6 years, so this topic is especially important to me. And by presenting this research through visual storytelling, I wanted to make the issue, like this sensitive issue, easier to recognize and more accessible to a wider audience. And I tried my best to make it engaging and comprehensible. So I'm really excited to present my project that I've been working on since last September.
Wonderful. Thank you. We're excited to see. We'll get that going in just a second.
Every day we see news headlines like this. Notice who the headline centers? Now read these headlines instead. Do you notice how the focus changes? The same event can be framed very differently. Hi, I'm Camila. As a journalist and communication researcher, I study how the wording of headlines shapes how people understand the stories. Headlines are powerful. In fact, research shows that many readers never click beyond them. For some people, the headline is the whole story. So, I wanted to know, can small differences in language shape who we blame, a victim or a perpetrator? I designed an online experiment with 598 young adults. Each participant read 3 mock news headlines about a sexual assault case. I changed 2 things in the headlines. First, the grammar. Some headlines were written in passive voice, like woman was sexually assaulted. Others were written in active voice, like man sexually assaulted woman. Second, I changed the relationship between the 2 people. In some headlines, the attacker was a stranger. In others, he was a coworker or a romantic partner. Then, participants answered questions about who they blamed, how much control they thought each person had, the sympathy they felt, and whether they would intervene in a similar situation. Let's look at the results. Grammar alone didn't strongly affect victim blame, but the relationship did, significantly. When the attacker described as a partner, people blamed the woman more and believed she had more control over what happened. When the attacker is a stranger, they blamed the woman the least and feel the most sympathy. In other words, the closer the relationship, the more responsibility shifted toward the victim, even though the crime itself was identical. Victim blaming wasn't just an opinion, it was linked to action. The more people blame the victim, the less willing they are to intervene or help when they witness a similar situation. This research matters because it shows that public understanding of sexual violence is not only shaped by facts, but by how those facts are presented. And that means headlines don't just report reality, but they help shape public understanding of violence, responsibility, and support. Even small differences in framing can influence who we blame, who we support, and whether we choose to act. Words matter, and the way we frame a story can shape what people believe and what they choose to do.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So what was your favorite part of the creative process?
I think my favorite part was experimenting with the visual storytelling because I wanted the format itself to reinforce how media narratives are constructed. So I started creating the newspaper inspired stop motion sequences. And for me, it was such a creative process. It was especially rewarding to see the different elements come together and interact with each other, making the project feel more dynamic and tangible.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it. All right. With that, we are going to conclude our second session of finalist videos. So that means it's time for our next round of Kahoot. So we'll get that launched in a second. As a reminder, if you're a graduate student who wants to try to win the prizes, please use your Clemson username as your player name. If you're doing it just for fun, that's fine. Give it another few seconds, make sure everybody's in. Okay. Nice. Another second. Okay, we can probably go ahead and start it. All right, so which law explains why planes can fly? A little more on the science side. That would be Bernoulli's principle. Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, and which part of the electromagnetic spectrum has the shortest wavelength? Gamma rays. That's a little bit more niche. It's good, it's good. Fantastic. Okay, and what's the phenomenon that causes the sky to appear blue? That would be light scattering. Light scattering. Okay, shifting gears a little bit, which planet has the most moons? That would be Saturn. All the gas giants, tough to pick between, you know? Okay, which type of radiation is the most penetrating? That would be gamma rays. They will go through most anything, truly. All right. And who knows which vitamin is fat soluble? Vitamin D is fat soluble. I'm not going to pretend to know that. Shout out to the committee that made the question, but that's amazing. Okay, now who brought Howard's Rock to Clemson? That would be a coach from another university. There's a whole story there, but I don't want to spoil any later questions. So, who founded Clemson University? Yes, that was Thomas Green. Clemson was the one who actually made the declaration in his will. Okay, third place, we have Bear. Congratulations. Second place, DC. Wonderful. And our champion for round 2, Oyen. Congratulations, y'all. And our runners-up, Ababu and Shintov. Fantastic, fantastic. We will make a note of those and get in contact with you. Okay, well, congrats to everyone who is our trivia winners. Now, it is time for our final session of videos. So, give us just a second. We'll get these pulled up for round 3. Perfect. All right. So our first presenter is going to be Yashashri Anil Patil from the College of Art, Architecture, and Construction with the video titled Solar Tunnel Dryer. And are you on the call with us?
Hi, I'm here.
Wonderful. Great to see you. Okay, so same question. What was your vision for this project?
Sure. So my vision behind this project is to solve a very practical problem in construction industry, which is a material waste caused by a bent bamboos and wood. I wanted to create a simple, sustainable solution that combines drying and straightening into a single process using a solar energy. The goal is to reduce a waste, lower the cost, and make a use of natural resources. And yes, this innovation is so unique that I filed a patent for it. So yeah, I'm excited to show my work.
Fantastic. We're excited to see it. We'll get that video up in just a second. Thank you.
Imagine using bamboo or wood in construction, only to find that it's bent, uneven, and unusable. Every year, large amounts of wood and bamboo are wasted. Not because they are weak, but because they are not straight. My research focuses on solving this problem in a simple and efficient way. Before wood or bamboo can be used, it must go through a process called seasoning, which means removing moisture. Traditional methods like air drying or kiln drying focus only on drying. But they ignore another important problem: natural bending. Fresh bamboo and wood are rarely straight. And after drying, these bends become even more visible, making the material difficult to use. So in practice, 2 separate steps are needed. First drying and then straightening. This takes about 3 to 4 months. This increases time, cost, and effort. To solve this, I developed a solar tunnel dryer with a built-in straightening system. In fact, a unique design that has led to patent filing. This system performs drying and straightening together in a single process. It works using a transparent tunnel that captures heat from sunlight, similar to a greenhouse. Inside the tunnel, the material is placed. It is then held in the correct shape by a specially designed clamp. As the material dries, it naturally straightens without cracking or damage. And the results are very effective. Drying and straightening are completed in just 7 days, much faster than traditional methods. The entire system runs on solar energy, so there is almost no operating cost. The system is low cost, easy to use, and does not require skilled labor. It also maintains the natural quality of the material and reduces the risk of damage. Most importantly, this approach reduces material waste. Bamboo or wood that would normally be rejected can now be reused. This helps conserve natural resources and supports sustainable construction. And the system is not limited to construction. The same solar tunnel can also be used to dry agricultural products like onions, herbs, and medicinal plants, making it a multi-purpose solution. So this is not just about drying wood or bamboo. It's about reducing waste, saving energy, and making better use of what we already have. All to say, sometimes what looks wasted is just waiting for its purpose. Thank you.
All right, fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, thank you so much. So what was your favorite part of the process?
So my favorite was the simplify the idea and turning it into a story that anyone can understand. As I came from a technical background, it was challenging but really rewarding to break down the concept into something clear and engaging for everyone. Working on the script and visualizing the process helped me to see my own research from a different perspective. So yeah, it's fun.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to move to our next finalist in round 3. This is going to be Jaquil D. Durham from the College of Arts and Humanities. The title of this video is 'Cause We From Here. And if you're on the call, we have questions. Okay, perfect. Awesome. So what was your initial vision for this project, or what were you inspired by to inform this video's design?
Yeah, I was inspired to do this project. One, coming to Clemson, I always knew that I wanted to do a film, a cinematic project. And for this project, it was wanting to be able to really get an understanding of my family history, my family culture, heritage, as it pertains to being someone who's from Clemson. And when people think about Clemson, they typically only think about the university. They only think about the city of Clemson, Clemson University, sports. And so I wanted to essentially come to Clemson and create a different narrative that is centered around Clemson, which is how is it that this city and this university is even established? How do we enjoy the things that we enjoy about this university? Why is it that some students choose to come to this university? And the truth of the matter is a lot of that is centered around the Black history, the Black culture, a lot of the history in terms of how this university is even established. And so part of that is the local community narrative piece. And so what I have for my research project is 3 different narratives. I mean, 3 different theories, which I focus on is narrative, sound, and cinema. And so what we will be seeing today is one of those theories, which is narrative theory, which encompasses community voices that talk about their experience and what it's like growing up in this community, in this town that a lot of people enjoy so much. So
Awesome. Thank you so much. We're excited to see it. Give us just a minute and we will get that video going.
part of this project is talking about the history and culture of, or the experience of Black people who are born and raised in this small community, central Clemson. As we know, a lot of people, lived in both, went back and forth. But essentially, how would you define home for yourself?
Home would be, for me, is central because of some things it's just what we do.
All right, tell me your name.
My name is Denasia Burt.
I grew up in the Alley area in Central.
You tell me, what do you think of when you hear hashtag Black Clemson?
When I hear hashtag Black Clemson, I think of Black history, I think of culture, I think of Black families that helped shape the community and build the community to what it is today.
You had the Oglesbys, you had the Bensons, you had the Davises, you had the Earls, you had all these people. Now all these people know one another. The Prestons, the Morrises, all these people, they know one another. So yeah, like, yeah, I'ma tell.
Just the way that we talk, the way that we pronounce certain things, the way we believe and take in differently, even on different thoughts. It's different. Central Clemson.
Tell me your name.
My name is Brent Benson.
Your family is.
My family is the Benson family. I grew up in Clemson and Central throughout my life. I think a family because around this area, everybody can
The older people in the communities too, if they see you out doing something, they call and tell it. You know, you get a whooping where you was, you get home, you get a whooping because they called and told them that you was doing something that you didn't have no business. That's the kind of community and neighborhood and the people in the community like that.
But back then, I think it was times that like the track team that really brought everybody together.
They tore down the Clemson house. They tore down the icon, Clemson. For us, the melanated nation, have lots of memories there.
And that was the time that you seen everybody's parents involved, and even if your parent couldn't make it, they were still okay with letting you go because they knew the other parents that were part of the move and the program. So I can say back then with the track team, it was really good and it was a big connection.
A lot of us got our culinary training working at the Clemson house in the kitchen. Like Aunt Mildred, Uncle Paul Jr.'s wife, she was the baker at the president's house. She baked all their cakes and stuff. She was the baker.
What was her name?
Mildred.
Mildred.
Oglesby.
Mildred Oglesby. Wow. At the president's house.
At the president's house.
Everybody used to play for the Central Raiders. You seen the parents really interactive with their kids and supportive and traveling with their kids. Like I can say for our community, the parents are going to stick with their kids when it comes to their activities.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay, so same question. What was your favorite part of this process?
My favorite part of this process was essentially just going around and having these conversations with my family members, learning a lot about them, learning a lot about myself. For example, at the end, learning about my aunt was the baker for, the university's president. I that
Yeah.
was new information for me. Um, and so just to learn about how much my family contribute, not just my family, but the entire what I call the Black Clemson community, just contribute so much to this university, contribute so much to the community, and learning that, and learning to have value with that as a student and a community member was beautiful to me. So I think being able to identify people and sit down and hear these stories and capture them, I think is something. I think the last piece that I learned that I think is important was learning about a lot of the houses in the Black communities were houses that were once used on campus. And so a lot of the houses in these Black neighborhoods, the fact that they was home, they live in homes, still live in homes today that were formerly used as homes on the campus, I think is another beautiful narrative. And I think that's also kind of why the importance of how to one define home in the beginning is important or was important.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate it. All right, we are going to move to our next finalist. Yes, this is going to be Ashley D. Hunter from the College of Education. The title of this video will be Keeping Teacher Out of the Transfer Portal. I think I saw Ashley on here. There we go. Awesome. Okay, surprise. What was your initial vision for this project?
I would like to comment. I made a typo, and it is supposed to be keeping teachers out of the transfer portal, not just one. So my vision.
That's so fair.
I mean, one is great, but so really, there's this problem of teachers leaving the classrooms in primary and secondary schools, and it's real, and it often gets overlooked when we compare it to things like cancer or neurodegenerative disease, things that are really life and death. And a lot of times we just forget that in order to produce scientists to solve these problems, we need to have the teachers in the classrooms for them to get to that level to solve those problems. So my hope was to communicate this research to every stakeholder that touches education. And that means from the policy makers all the way down to my actual K-12 students that I used to teach in my classroom, and even their mothers who work at Burger King. So I also wanted to make this stick. And so I did incorporate a motif of a 1/4 through this, and I hope it does the job.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. We look forward to seeing it.
One in 4, 25% off, a quarter of a football game. We encounter this 1/4 number a lot in life. I love it once the first quarter of the football game is over. And I love it when I get to the last quarter. But what if that quarter weren't there at all? How would the game change? If it were only 3 quarters? What would the players be facing? When the game changes, so does everything else. Just look at college football today. One change? It's completely different. Players transfer now more than they ever have. Coaches are constantly shifting how they coach, how they recruit, how they retain players. Retention is fundamental for a winning season. Let's shift that thought into the US K-12 classroom. What happens when a teacher transfers? What happens when a teacher leaves the educational system altogether? Remember our opening statistic, 1 in 4. That's the number of teachers that leave early in their career. How many of us make sure that we live in certain school zones so that our kids go to good schools who keep their educators? Without realizing it, teacher retention has affected the very place we choose to live. Educational researchers across the country and even across the globe have identified things like salary, school climate, and location to play a role in keeping teachers. But what if we are missing a key element? What if some school districts possess something that others don't? What if they have a key player? In many K-12 public school districts across the country, there are curriculum coordinators. The coordinators often act as content specialists. They work with teachers on helping students achieve better outcomes. They demystify testing. They coach and develop teachers. They provide support and direction. Some even write grants so that their teachers can be paid to become better. What if these key district players are the reason why some teachers stay in the classroom? What if the districts that have these players in their back pocket are the ones that have less teacher transfers? If we take a random sample of school districts across the country and ask them how many of their teachers they retained and whether their districts have these key coordinators, we can determine if that key player is an influencer in the teacher transfer portal. What if having this one key player helps to keep more teachers on the district team? 1 in 4. Remember that. Losing something as big as a quarter can have a profound impact. Let's figure out the influencer behind that number. Let's reduce the educational interruption for our children. Because the transfer of players in the game of education matters a whole lot more than in football.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay. And then same second question. What was your favorite part of the process?
Writing the script. I loved writing the script, and that's all I have to say about that.
Seems like you did a great job. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we will move on to our final video of the day. Perfect. So our final video is from Moyonoloa Orapelo, Orapeloye, from the College of Arts and Humanities. The title of this video is I Lived Twice, Reframing Exile in Contemporary Diasporic Contexts. If you're on the call with us, we would love to ask you a question.
Hi. I don't think I heard the last part of what you said.
I'm just making sure you were on the call. Hi.
Okay.
So could
Okay,
you
so
tell us
yeah,
what
I've heard everybody talk about theirs. This was inspired by my master's thesis where I did research on how exile is two-toned in the sense that we're always focusing on, people leave one country and move to the next one and focusing on how, it's always a longing for home or feelings of loss. And I think that's too universal to contextualize how exile looks like for individual people. And so my research wants to say, let's pause and look at how exile highlights itself in the lives of different exiles. For instance, someone who becomes an exile because of war is not the same as someone who does that because of, let's say, immigration issues, right? And so I try to really replicate that by showing the two-ness and some aspects of individuality in my video.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. We will watch it in just a second.
Can you describe what it felt like to leave home?
Leave? I don't think I ever did. And I'm just now starting to realize that my story isn't the one way that exile exists. Exile is often described as a shared human condition, a poetic idea about longing for home. But when you zoom in, exile looks different.
What do you mean by that?
For me, it didn't feel like leaving. It felt like something split. It's like exile didn't simply take me from one place to another. It created two versions of me. And I'm starting to see just how differently it can look like for individual people.
I never crossed a border, but I still feel displaced.
Something changed, or maybe I did.
I had to become someone else just to be understood.
So why does this matter? This matters because when we flatten exile into one universal narrative, we misunderstand millions of lives. We reduce people into symbols, but when we center individual and intergenerational stories, we begin to see exile for what it really is: complex, lived, and deeply human. Storytelling becomes a way to preserve what official histories ignore. It allows people to define themselves.
Which one is you now?
Both, and neither at the same time. So maybe the question isn't which one is you now or what is exile, but whose story are we listening to? Because when we flatten exile into one story, we erase uniqueness. But when we honor individual stories, we preserve dignity. And when you remember my research on reframing exile from a universal standpoint, you remember it as a voice for the voiceless.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So what was your
Okay.
favorite part of the process?
I would say hands down, having to film myself twice to make the clones of my character. I think paying attention to the outfit, the hairstyle, and even the jewelry was just very it was a lot, and I truly enjoyed how it eventually came out looking. So yeah,
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing. We appreciate it.
thank you.
All right. So that concludes our finalist videos, which means in a second it'll be time for our last round of Kahoot. But first, I do want to let people know about People's Choice Awards. So if you're watching this event with other people on the same device, you do need to individually sign into the Zoom to vote because it will be done via Zoom poll. So just keep that in mind as we move into our last round of Kahoot. And if you're a graduate student who wants to try to win prizes, please, again, make sure to use your Clemson username as your player name on Kahoot. Okay, looks like we're almost there with the same folks. Okay, let's go. All right, all right. So, what year was Clemson University founded? (1889) Absolutely. It became a university in 1964, but founded in 1889. Okay, which building replaced older student gathering spaces as our modern student center? That would be the Hendricks Student Center. Fantastic. Okay. So which building was once the main administrative building before newer offices shifted some of the roles around? It is Tillman Hall or Old Main. That used to be the administrative offices before we had Sykes Hall. Okay, so this is the oldest building on Clemson's campus. It was originally used for both classrooms and administration. Fantastic. It's Tillman Hall and Old Main once again. Hardin Hall is a close second. And so what is Clemson's land grant designation based on? Which law? That is the Morrill Act of 1862. I won't pretend to know more about that, but shout out to the committee for putting that question together. Okay, so what is that main gas that is found in the sun after hydrogen? So the most common after hydrogen. That would be helium. Second lightest element, also second in the sun. All right, so what was the original source of Howard's Rock? That would be Death Valley, California. Again, there's a whole story there. If you want to know, I'm happy to tell you. It's kind of funny. Okay, and what is unique about Clemson's Memorial Stadium's nickname, which is Death Valley? It was first used by a visiting coach. This is all part of like a longer story, so it's cool. You should ask somebody about it or Google it. It's really cool. Okay, so number 3 on our podium, PAW, PAW. In second place on our podium, A. Fantastic. And in first place for our third round of Kahoot, G! Amazing! Cool, 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 cool. Okay, and then Chloe and Shintoff are runners up. That's fantastic. We will make a note of these and be in contact with the grad students. Okay, well, congratulations to all of our trivia winners. All right, in just a minute, we are going to get the People's Choice voting going. So once again, if you are watching with other people on the same device, each of you does need to sign into the Zoom to vote. It's going to be a Zoom poll. So I'm going to give like another 30, 45 seconds or so to make sure folks can get logged in if you want. And then we'll do some voting and have some awards. It seems like we're mostly stabilizing here. Okay, awesome. Well, it is y'all's turn. You're going to get a Zoom poll in just a minute where you can vote for which of our 13 finalist videos was your favorite. And we'll take about 30 seconds to get those votes in. We'll give it another couple of seconds, make sure everybody gets a chance to participate. Voting isn't working for some people. Okay. Well, we're going to figure out what to do about that in just a second. Just bear with us for a moment. We couldn't have a fully virtual event without it being a little bit of a hurdle. Give us 1 second. Okay, I see. So hosts and panelists probably aren't able to vote is what the issue is for those folks that are asking. If everyone else can vote, we are getting the votes coming in. I think we've got everybody all together. Maybe one or two more that are coming in. Cool. Right. There are no other entries. I think we're going to go ahead and end the poll. Awesome. Okay. Double checking our results. Good. Okay. All right. So here we go. Close that out. All right. Thank you for being with us. Appreciate you. Okay. The moment is finally here. The Research and Career Development Committee is, okay. People are putting things in the chat as well. Okay. Okay.
Hi, Matt.
Hi. What's up?
Okay, so some of the voting is not working at the watch party. So
Okay.
the best solution we can think of right now is putting votes in the chat. I think everybody might show up as my name. So I guess that way it's still kind of anonymous. But I'm not typing anything. It's just people here that are typing.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, give us a couple minutes. We'll get this figured out, and everybody will find out about the awards in just a second. Few seconds. Cool, cool, cool. I have like a rough answer, but I don't want to tell anyone the wrong information. So if we don't get to it on the call, we will reach out to the people who did win to make sure that y'all know. We can get you your prize money. Um, we'll try to figure it out on the back end. And if we can announce it at the end, we definitely will. But we'll get it all together and get in touch with y'all very, very soon. Okay. Thank you for bearing with us. The People's Choice Awards will be happening. But now we are going to move to the rest of our awards ceremony. So again, the Research and Career Development Committee of GSG and the Graduate School of Clemson University, we are thrilled to announce the winners of the 2026 iGRADS competition. So congratulations, honestly, to all of our finalists for competing in this year's finals. You've all done an incredible job. You've really made Clemson and your peers proud. And as a reminder of our awards, there will be 2 People's Choice Awards that'll each be $100. We'll talk about those in a bit. And then third place will receive $1,000, second place $2,000, and the champion of the competition will get $3,000. Okay, so in third place, the third place winner of Clemson's 2026 iGRADS competition is Olakuntunde Ajayi. Save Our Trees, Save Our Lives, Cognitive Behavioral, Social, and Health Sciences. Congrats, Ola.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Our second place winner of the 2026 iGRADS competition is Yashashri Anil Patil from the College of Architecture, Art, and Construction, the video of Solar Tunnel Dryer. So congratulations. Amazing, amazing work. Finally, our first place champion of Clemson's 2026 iGRADS competition is Atira Babu, rethinking what we call waste from the College of Science. Congratulations. Alrighty. Okay, well, we wanted to thank y'all so much. That is going to wrap up our event for this year. Thank you so much for being here.
Hello.
For finalists, thank you so much. Oh, Tony, what's up?
Hey, this is Atira Babu. I'm so happy. Thank you so much. And
of course.
and
Congratulations.
all thanks to my group members, my professor Red C. Smith, and my husband Abin Suresh. I know he's watching this, and thank you so much.
That's amazing. Congratulations. We're so excited we can hear from you. Thank you. Oh, wonderful. Okay, so we do want to thank all of you so much for being here. For our finalists, thank you so much for sharing the incredible work that you've all been doing. We really wish you all the best for the future. We can't wait for next year's competition. And so keep an eye out in the fall when we'll be back hosting Clemson's branch of the worldwide 3-minute thesis competition. And with that, I'm going to ask y'all have a great rest of your day. We will work on sorting out the People's Choice Awards as quickly as we can and let everyone know. Thank y'all so much.